What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new Marvel video. This time we're going to do something different. We're going to be pitching a bunch of, well, we're going to pitch a few Marvel characters that are, or Marvel games that will be done by first-party Sony developers. What do I mean by this? So, I'm going to take a bunch of characters from Marvel's universe that at least I'm probably most familiar with and haven't gotten games yet that I feel like would suit best with the developers I will be choosing for these set characters. So, like, like Daredevil with like Nida or something, like stuff like that. I'll pitch the game of why I picked them, and what I would like to see in the said game. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in this, and we're gonna start off with Insomnia. Now, for Insomnia, I have two characters for them. First off is Iron Man. Now, with Iron Man, with their experience with both Spider-Man PS4, as well as Ratchet & Clank, and as we know what Iron Man is, a very technologically advanced character and focused on technology, it'll be a perfect fit and a very seamless transition for them, because they've already had experience with technology-based characters like Iron Man with the Ratchet & Clank franchise. So, for a story, I would definitely say, I would like for it to be somewhere where, okay, with a character like Iron Man, I would like there to first off be destructible environments, buildings, and since we are a man in Suvaru, we're pretty much a one-man army. I would like for us to also have destructive buildings, so like maybe we can just go right through them while we're flying, or parts of the building come down, or there are chunks of the building that come off. So I don't think we can have the game really set in New York because the damages and everything, and of course. Or maybe we can actually have this maybe take place maybe around the same time as the Avengers project or after it. Whatever the case may be. But I would say probably have it take place in some war-torn country, maybe a deserted island or something. A deserted island or something along those lines. And just have it, and have the main villain be the Mandarin. By that I mean how he was in Iron Man 3. Now I am not saying this just to shit on Iron Man 3, as you guys know, which I did in my. If you guys have been here for a decent time, you guys might remember back in 2017, right around the time Infinity War was about to come out, I did a series called Road to Infinity War, where I reviewed a bunch of movies from Phase 1, 2, and 3 that were some of the more important films of the franchise, and it's more like a retrospective. Hey, here's some of my favorite films from the first two phases. They're also some of the most important ones I did. A Winter Soldier, not Winter Soldier. I did Civil War, Iron Man 3, Hulk, Iron Man 1, and Avengers. I think that was about all of them. But I did Iron Man 3, and I even mentioned there that Iron Man 3 honestly is the most underrated movie in the MCU for me. And yes, I understand why a lot of people didn't like what happened with the Mandarin, and I get that. I was right with you too. I thought that shit was fucking stupid. But that wasn't actually until I think Professor Thorgy did like a retrospective on the MCU, where the way he explained it actually made it a little bit more sense. Where you were supposed to feel betrayed, you were supposed to feel like empty, or feel like you were just supposed to feel angry, just like Tony is, because it wasn't what you wanted. It made a little bit more sense, honestly, when he explained it. Honestly, I'll put that video up in the iCards above if you want to try to check it out. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So have the Mandarin, same thing with the terrorist organization and everything. So having Tony being a war-torn nation, maybe you can have it take place in Afghanistan or something. Maybe you could have it be in a destroyed New York because the Mandarin came in there and just, destroyed everything. Maybe also have some interaction with other Marvel heroes. I would definitely say if you're going to do it in New York, you got to include the rest of the Marvel characters. You got to have Spider-Man make an appearance in there, have him help him out. Like, almost do something like what Web of Shadows did, where you have multiple characters from the Marvel universe make appearances, like I mentioned before. You got Spider-Man show over there, maybe some stuff with Captain America, maybe some stuff with Black Widow, Hawkeye, some other stuff, shit like that. You could do some shit like that. If you're gonna take place in New York and you're gonna have it kind of destroyed, and the Mandarin's kind of taking over, have it be something like that. Or you could have it in a war-torn nation, and like some more shenanigans like Afghanistan, you're trying to take out the Mandarin in his home turf. Either way, I would like there to now. Of course, the game's going to be open world, where you guys go into different parts of the map. You gotta make the map pretty big for a character like Iron Man, where you're gonna be flying all over the place. You need to make sure that feels big. Gotta fill it up with some side. That's why I picked Insomnia, because how great they handled the side missions and everything with Spider-Man PS4. Iron Man, I'm sure they'll feel right at home with that character. So, as I was saying. So if we're gonna have it take place in New York, of course you gotta have Stark Tower in there, and that's gonna be like your main hub area. That's where you're gonna take place. That's where you could probably pick up missions, and maybe where you have to start missions there sometimes. Side missions you could pick up on, like, oh hey, there's like this, for like new armor pieces or stuff like that, or just new weapons, or just help for other side characters that might need help that could later on help you out throughout the rest of the story. Shit like that. It was shit like that. But of course, the big reason customization. You gotta, with character like Iron Man, you gotta put that customization in there. Of course, you can have your traditional like skins, like movie suits, and if you're good, and what they would love to, with some, you guys know that they put in, they added where you could just where they have like little bonuses for the suits. Where Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man 29 suit, the white one had a custom shop. The Parker Industries suit had the armor. The Iron Spider suit from the MCU had, of course, the mechanical arms. A bunch of other ones had different, like Spider-Punk had the guitar. Do stuff like that, but apply that to Iron Man. So maybe, like say for like the stealth suit, the blue stealth suit, maybe that gives you an extra bonus in stealth. Maybe it turns you invisible for a little while or something. Shit like that. You can do that for but of course you could also. But I would also like there to be like more of a customizable suit. One suit you can change the colors around and shit like that. Add different weapons and shit like that. That would be. I think that would actually be really cool. The character like Iron Man, you gotta really come out with that customization and make the armor feel like it's your own. Put your own weapons in there, color it the way you want, shit like that. I think that would also be really, really cool if you guys ask me. What else? So, customization definitely is a big must. As far as combat goes, I don't think a combat will, since this is going to be a third-person shooter pretty much, with you going to be most of the time being fly in the air, you're just repulsor fire, you're not going to spend that many times up close and personal. When you do, I wouldn't say you have to go with go with an Arkham-style combat, because I don't feel like a combat system like that, or really any combat system, would really fit like a character like Iron Man, because most of the time he's going to be uses repulsors or other weapons. He's not going to be going straight fist fight. But of course, when you do, I would say maybe a simple 1-2 combo, like 1-2-3 combo, something simple like that could work just fine. But if you are going to use Arkham style combat, make it feel like it's specific, like Iron. And that's why I picked Insomnia. Insomnia took the blueprint of the Arkham style combat, free flow combat, and applied it to Spider-Man and made it feel like its own. They're just like, okay, Arkham, put it with Spider-Man, but just make it more acrobatic. No. They made it feel like yes, this is definitely based off of Arkham, but it feels different enough to where, this feels like a Spider-Man combat system. And that's why I loved it most about it, and that's why I kind of prefer it over the free flow combat how it's in the Arkham games. I don't know if it's because I just prefer how it just feels in Spider-Man. I don't know if it's because I just prefer Spider-Man as a character, or it's something that just really improved upon and changed it to where the changes need to be to make it really feel like it's its own system for Spider-Man. Do the same for Iron Man. You guys remember that epic scene at the end of Civil War when Tony was using his repulsors to add more power to his punch? Do shit like that. Make the combat feel like it is made for Iron Man. Like, Batman, meet Iron Man, we're done. No. Gotta make it feel like it's his own. Something like I mentioned before, like maybe have one where you can where your repulsor, you can fire off a repulsor to make your shoulder hit where you hit them with your elbow, make it hit them much harder, or just some typical combo, shit like that. I think that will work. I've said shit like that way too many times in this video. So yeah, that would definitely be a combat system. That would be the combat system I would go with. Either go Arkham style, but make it feel like it's its own for Iron Man. So like I mentioned before, do that stuff with having these repulsors play a factor in there. Of course, have a gadget wheel with different attacks and skills. You can mini missiles, big normal missiles, the lasers, anything you guys know from Iron Man's major repertoire. You can do that. Put in a gadget wheel, or maybe you can add short keys to the D power. You can just switch them on the fly in the middle of combat. So if you're flying and you want to switch to your missiles real quick, stuff like that. Obviously, unlimited ammo, because with Iron Man you're going to be going against major threats, so you can't really limit it. Or you can just have it be rechargeable. Either way, that's what I would do. The repulsors, you can make them rechargeable. I would say make missiles maybe kind of limited, or make them more limited. The other weapons like missiles and such, that's going to take some balancing, but I think you can get. But I think knowing it's something they'll do just fine. They'll make it to do it just right. I'd say, or maybe maybe you can have something like overheat, like the lasers. You can have those overheat after some time, something like that. What else? Well, I think that's about it for Iron Man. So customization would definitely be a must. gameplay, you know, third-person shooters, you know, mostly just gonna be like you just fire over repulsors and stuff. Flying combat, made it similar to something like Just Cause, because there was this video I saw where some other dude was actually pitching an Iron Man game, but he would like see one, and he brought up a lot of things with Just Cause, like its combat or its flight combat, flight stuff. I'll put that video up in the icon about for if you guys want to get more detailed, more detailed version of what, you know, of an Iron Man game could look like. So. The other character I want to put in there for Insomnia is Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is a character that I love, even though I've never read a single one of his comics, but I just love his design. I love his lore so much, and I just want to see Moon Knight in something just so he gets more popular, because he's such a cool character. Now, yes, you could make it, yeah, yes, he is essentially Marvel's Batman, but I feel there is more of him because with all everything that has with his connection to the Egyptian god and everything. Now, the reason I picked Insomnia because it is very hard to make a Moon Knight game without it just being another Arkham game set in the Marvel Universe. That's why I picked Insomnia, because I feel like what they did with Spider-Man, I feel like they could probably maybe pull that same magic for Moon Knight. It's going to be a lot harder because Moon Knight and Batman are damn near one and the same. But I feel they can do it just right where they get that balance, where they change up the art, where they change the free flow combat to make it feel unique enough for Moon Knight, rather than, hey, here's Batman, you know, with the combat. You know, something like that. I'm not going to really get into story or anything, because, you know, but one thing I would like from these Marvel games, since we know the Marvel's going to be like trying to start their own universe, have each game feel different from the other, have them feel their own stuff. So, you know, with Spider-Man, New York is so bright, it's so full of like, but since Moon Knight is a very street level character, like on the level of a Daredevil or a Punisher, make New York feel less like dark and brooding and, you know, just very disgusting or something, because, you know, when you see some of his comics, that's kind of the feel they go with in there too. So I wouldn't say have the whole game take place at night, like, because with Moon Knight he has his 3 personalities, like have also interesting side missions where, you know, there's one he has where he's a taxi driver, another one where he's a philanthropist, I forget, and I think the other one where he's a pilot. I can't really think of all 3 of them off the top of my head of Moon Knight, but that's one thing I love Moon Knight so much, because he has so many different personalities, and he straight up has multi-personality disorder, and it's so interesting with the different personalities and how he uses them to his advantage. Like I mentioned, there's one the taxi driver, one where he's just, you know, a philanthropist. Moon Knight is such an interesting character, man. I just want to see more of him. So, you know, you can use that for the main story where he's a taxi driver to get more intel. I would love to see a taxi driver be more used for side missions, or, you know, you overhear conversations and they help you out with side missions, or you find out the blueprints for a building that you're going to go in a main mission, you know, shit like that to make you actually want to do the side missions, because they'll actually help you out in the main game or in other side missions. And that's what I love about Insomnia. Insomnia went the extra mile with that whole Tombstone side mission, and I hope for the sequel they do that same thing, but for more. I would love for them to do that same thing with Moon Knight, but have it be on a much greater scale with just the whole stuff with the taxi driver stuff. I think that would be really, really cool, and hopefully y'all agree with me on that one. So anyway, let us move on to Sucker Punch. So for Sucker Punch, I picked Captain Marvel. Man, I can already hear the people raging at their keyboards, disliking this video, being like, oh! Fuck you! Captain Marvel sucks! You know, they're gonna be coming at me, you know, because fuck Captain Marvel, she's a terrible character and all this other shit, which she's not. But in all seriousness, guys, the reason I picked Captain Marvel is because, of course, of their familiarity with the Infamous franchise. Of course, since Captain Marvel is kind of similar to Cole McGrath, instead of electricity, it's, you know, photon blast, third-person shooter, just like with Iron Man as well. So for this one, I would actually, this is actually an idea that I actually had that I think you guys would like. So we start the game off, of course it'll obviously be the tutorial, but it starts off with kind of like a dream sequence, or maybe Carol's just kind of reminiscing while she wakes up, and, you know, in her like New York apartment or some shit, you know. And in this, and to learn the controls, we actually get transported back to her time back when she was in the military, more specifically boot camp. So for like just your basic maneuvering, like controlling the camera and everything, moving, jumping, that shit, you would just go. We would go through, let's say, an obstacle course, you know. Just, you know, get the basic control of all the, you know, you got the drill sergeant being like, you know, Danvers do this or do that, you know, all that shit. Combat training. With combat for this game, it's the same situation with Iron Man, where this game, like I mentioned before, it's going to be a third person, so you don't need to fully invest on a combat system. So really, let's say you don't need to get Batman Arkham series, combat system. You don't need to go with the free flow comp for this game. Because, like I mentioned before, you're going to be mostly doing range attacks, firing off photon blasts, so it's the same situation with Infamous. So for this one, just, a standard, maybe 1, 2, 3 combo, maybe a couple variants here and there with different button outputs, maybe throw a photon blast here and there. Same bit different with Iron Man. I mean, yes, you could, but realistically, with her and Iron Man, do you really need to bring in free flow combat? Like, not free flow combat is not the combat where it's like, you're a superhero, okay, you get free flow combat. Like, Crash, like Spider-Man, Daredevil, Moon Knight, Hawkeye to an extent, Thor, it could work for him, Captain America, especially Captain America, and a bunch of other, like, the more street level heroes, or the, like, or not the completely godlike cosmic characters. They don't need to use free flow, they don't need the free flow combat because they're a lot more of range fighters than close quarters combat. Now, like I mentioned before, so for this one, you don't really need to go full on out with free flow combat for Captain Marvel. At least I don't think so. My personal opinion, you guys might think no, it has to be free flow. You gotta put in the free flow combat because with this one, like I mentioned before, you're just gonna be going off, hiding behind cover, firing off photon blasts. Of course, you would have different variations of the photon blast. Like you would have a version, a charged photon blast, which works similar to the missile, like the charged missiles worked in the Infamous games. Similar thing with that. So yeah, you can have charge attacks ones where you can have one where you bring your hands together for another strong attack, like when Tony fires a repulsor blast from his arc reactor, from his actual arc reactor in the middle of suit, which he's done that a couple times. You can even do that in the video game as well for Iron Man. So yeah, stuff like that. You could probably also unlock some other variants of photon blast, some other attacks, and from skill trees as well. Some other combos of skill trees. That's kind of like what I would do for combat. Now back to what I was saying about the whole thing with the Air Force thing. So you can have like some sparring sessions that she has for combat training, like maybe some CQC training. That's where you bring out the combat stuff for just like the melee stuff. Now, for her actual flight, because we know that since it is Captain Marvel, flight's going to play a major part in the game, just like Iron Man, especially this game will indeed be open world, which I think should be. For a Captain Marvel game, I think it should be open world. Now, the real problem is whether or not you set the whole game in space or in New York, because Captain Marvel is somewhere where you can do both. I feel like space would probably be a better option, but at the same time, at that point, you would probably, Sucker Punch would have to make multiple different planets and give open worlds for those, so I wouldn't be surprised they ended up just sticking with New York, and maybe 1 or 2 missions you spend out in space on some other planets. I don't know. Tell me down below, guys, what you guys want for Captain Marvel. Would you want it to take place on Earth, like New York or somewhere else, or would you prefer to take place in space and you got like maybe a small section of planet, maybe like 2 or 3 planets, or just one outer space planet where the whole game takes place, and maybe like 1 or 2 missions on Earth. Tell me all that down below, guys, what you guys think about that, and which one you would prefer. So for flight training, we would just have her, of course, just flying around a jet. Just flying around a jet. You could also maybe even bring Maria Rambeau as also in the air as well. You can have some nice little banter between those two. Maybe top of their times with Monica or stuff like that. Really just little nice little banter between the two. Just for the love of God, don't have both throw an SJW wreck like, oh fuck man, no that shit please. As much as I love Carol, my God, I don't know what's about this woman. I don't know if it's just the writers of whoever or people writer, but she attracts SJWs like flies on shit. So please, Sucker Punch, keep that shit out of the game. Just adapt Carol how she is in the comics, please. That's all I ask. Yeah. So anything else I'm missing? Gameplay, third-person shooter, you can just do it very much style to the Infamous games with the photon blast and everything. Combat we've already gone over. Storyline, I don't really got much. Maybe you can just have her face off against the Kree or Skrulls. I'd say those. I would like to see Skrulls because I liked how they were portrayed in the movie, and I would have liked to see them actually as the villains, and just that suspense where she thinks you care, but when she's talking to a character, but it's revealed to be a Skrull, because I thought that little whole stuff that they did with the Skrulls in the first half of the movie, I thought was really cool, and I would have loved to see it more, especially if we were going to get Secret Invasion was actually going to become a witch. At this point, it looks like it's very unlikely to do that, since of course we know the Skrulls are good guys actually. So who knows? That's what it. And yeah, it's about all I got for Captain Marvel. Oh yeah, Binary. I gotta talk about Binary, how that will work. For Binary, I have 2 options for that one. Either A, you can have Binary kind of work as like a screen nuke, kind of like those like special attacks where you fill up a meter and boom, you get into a screen note, like you could in Infamous Second Son. But I think the better option would probably be if you could fill up that meter and it's like a limited, stat boost. You know, your attacks hit harder, your photon blast hit harder, and you're just, maybe you're a little bit faster as well. Maybe you're constantly hovering. Maybe when you're fighting, I don't know. But I would definitely maybe have it just more as like either a short-term stat boost that lasts for like maybe about 10-15 seconds, maybe a minute. You could extend it, and you could probably extend it a little bit longer throughout the skill tree. But I wouldn't have it somewhere like it's a toggle, like you can keep it on and off like it's super save. Now because if you do that, that would break the game and make it too easy. So I would say keep binary. It's kind of like a little I guess rage boost, if you will, or just a little stat boost that you get once you feel a mirror like you do decent in the combat or something. That's how I would do with that's how I would deal with her binary powers. Now, let's get to the characters that I'm actually most looking forward to talking about. Naughty Dog. You guys know, I think I mentioned this before, but I fucking love Naughty Dog. They're my favorite developer of all time. I fucking love them. They make every game they make. Well, not even really that. I'm not the biggest fan of the Jak and Daxter games. In all honesty, I'm legitimately not actually that big of a fan of those games. Uncharted, I think I love them all. The Last of Us is one of my favorite video games of all time, man. I fucking love Naughty Dog. Now, for the first one, we're going to talk about Daredevil. So with Daredevil, I was debating between them, between Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch, mostly for the fact that with the graphic novel style cutscenes that were in Infamous 1 and 2, I felt that would have been a great fit for the character of Daredevil, just his overall look, and I think that would just work really well with him. So that's why I was kind of debating between them and Sucker Punch. I was like, Sucker Punch got this graphic novel cutscene, but Naughty Dog is like the king of video game stories. So I was like, I don't know, I was debating between those two, but I think, but overall I would definitely say I think probably Naughty would probably be a little bit better fit, but I don't know. It's kind of like those graphic novel cutscenes in the first and 2 of this game did look pretty nice, man. I would think they would just fit beautifully with the character like Daredevil. So, yeah, so let's move on to what stayed for the story of the game, or at least somewhat of a story. So I got about 3 things. First off, Daredevil Season 4. Y'all know, Daredevil Season 3 was fun. I loved Season 3. We all loved Daredevil Season 3. We were all saddened when it got canceled by those bastards over there at Disney, because God forbid we have some damn good superhero television around Marvel nowadays. Granted, Cloak and Dagger has been killing it. Season 2 is fucking fantastic, but my God, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is fucking garbage. And we can't have those Netflix series outshining us, man. We can't have that. No. So let's cancel them all. Can't fuck them. Yep. That's the jaded Netflix fan in me. But whatever the reason, they actually got canceled, ratings, whatever, development problems, whatever. Daredevil Season 4 will be, I do just love to see it. Second one, a lot of people, you guys may have heard, I've heard a lot of people say that actually Spider-Man PS4 was a lot based off, was based off of, or looked a lot like Dan Slott's run from his 10-year run with the character. So if we're going to keep up with that kind of thing with Daredevil game, I would definitely probably go some with Bendis' run. I think, I haven't read it myself, but from what I've heard of it, and from what I've seen of it, looks fucking fantastic. The basic gist of his run is that some dude that works for Wilson Fisk finds out that he knows who Daredevil is, that he's Matt Murdock. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be some big shot, and he leaks the information. So Daredevil has to Daredevil has to pretty much clear himself that he is Daredevil. What he is, but he must be sure his secret identity is a secret, obviously. So, so I think that would be cool. And just the overall look at the comic was just fucking fantastic, man. And the third one is actually the story that you guys may have heard. No, Daredevil is no stranger to video games, as he's had made appearances in all 3 of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. But if you guys remember, back in around 2003, he was going to have his own video game called Daredevil: The Man Without Fear. Game got canceled, development hell. Unseen64 did an amazing video. Did an amazing video on it, so check that out if you guys want to. I'll have it up in the iCards above or in the description box below. So the storyline for that game was good. It was going to be an original story. Wilson Fisk has actually been assassinated Elektra is as like the top suspect, so Daredevil has to clear her name, but then reveal to be actually that he staged everything, he faked his own death so that the other crime lords would just kill each other off, so he would get more power, so he would get absolute control over New York. Now this storyline is something I would actually love to see with everything that's happened in Spider PS4, the DLCs, as well as much other characters. Like after everything and Wilton Fisk sees himself in prison, I can see like, this city, I'm gone from this city for 5 minutes, and it goes to shit. We cannot have this happen again. So when I get out of here, I will make sure I have absolute power and control. You know, he could be something like that, and then you could have Spider-Man come in there. They can team up together, because, you know, they're no strangers to teaming up. And, you know, you can just, and throw the Punisher in there, because I love it when Daredevil and Punisher together. They're essentially the Marvels, Batman and Joker. You know, they're just fucking fantastic together. And, yeah, we can have an amazing story. If you got Neil Druckmann work on that story, probably with maybe one of his, with a long-time Daredevil comrade, maybe you can throw Bendis in there, or maybe Frank Miller. I don't know. We could probably get a damn good story that's right up there with the quality of the Netflix, because honestly, I will reject anything that is not of that quality, because god damn it, Season 3 was a fucking masterpiece, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not watched Daredevil, get up off your ass, put it on Netflix, and binge that motherfucker, because you will not regret it. It is 3 seasons of godlike television, if you ask me. From Wilson Fisk to Daredevil, who else? Karen, Foggy, Bullseye, oh my god, Bullseye! Oh, man, that was some great shit with him in Season 3. Oh, man, that was some great shit. That was me gushing about Season 3. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I have for the storyline. But one thing I have to say, please, for the love of God, get Vincent D'Onofrio to voice the Kingpin. I know someone was like, wait, but he's already been voiced in Spider-Man PS4. So, just recast him. I mean, Wilson Fisk, and when he's in with Spider-Man and Daredevil, he's almost like 2 completely different people. I mean, just look how he is in the Netflix series, and just compare that to how he is in Spider-Verse. I know that's not a fair comparison, but my point still stands. In the Netflix series, he has so much more nuance, and just whenever he's with Daredevil, honestly, he has so much more nuanced character to him. While in Spider-Man, none of that's really different, at least from my experience anyway. But my experience from him with Kingpin and Spider-Man is mostly to the anime series, as was Spider-Man PS4. I've noticed he has like barely none of the nuance that he has in there where he's with Spider-Man than he does with Daredevil. With Daredevil, there's so much to him. He's such a 3-dimensional character and just such an amazing villain. That's also why I consider Wilson Fisk more of a Daredevil villain than I do Spider-Man, because he's just so much better when he's with the Devil of Hell's Kitchen than he is with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's just me. And yeah, so, you know, I know it's not a fair comparison, but, you know, I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from, because let's be honest, when he's with Daredevil, Wilson Fisk is at his best. It's the same thing with Doc Ock. With Doc Ock, when he has the connection with Peter, like he did in Spider-Man PS4 as well as Spider-Man 2, he's one of the best. He's one of Spider-Man's greatest villains. When he doesn't have that connection like how he was in the anime series, I honestly find him not that interesting, if you ask me. But anyway, that's kind of my 2 cents. Either him or Charlie Cox to reprise his role as Matt Murdock. I think that would be cool. So yeah, just give me one of those 2, and I'll be a happy man. So let's move on to the gameplay. And so for gameplay, of course, I know y'all probably sick and tired of me constantly bringing up, but free flow combat. Now for this one, I actually something different. With free flow combat in the game, if they're going, that's what they're going to go with. They need to make it different from the Arkham, not just because just so it's not blatantly real Arkham, but Daredevil as a character. Well, yes, you could today he is Marvel's Batman, even though I think Moon Knight's probably a lot more comparable to Batman. Daredevil is close in that regard, which is the stories, how dark he is, his backstory, all that shit. But with Daredevil, he is just a man. Now, yes, Batman 2 is just a man with a lot of money, but you gotta remember, Batman, Bruce Wayne, is like at the peak of physical conditioning, peak human capabilities in terms of, you know, just strength and everything. Matt is not that. Matt is just an average guy who, if you want a more real example, he's more comparable to, say, a Johnny Gargano or a Seth Rollins rather than Brock Lesnar. You know, like just compare how he just remember what happened in that hallway fight back in Season 1, that epic one-take hallway fight. Remember, by the end of it, he's just throwing his body around like a ragdoll, just trying to get hits because he's so tired, he's exhausted. You gotta do the same thing with here. Now, I'm not saying I had a stamina meter, and as the game goes on, you get more and more tired. If I go, no. I mean, have Daredevil's combat have some weight to him. Like, don't have him flying from one side of the map to the other one to get another guy that's on the other side of the room for a villain. You gotta make it so where he's like almost all, where his feet is where he has real weight to him. His punches feel like, you know, very powerful, you know, very grounded and pound as, you know, like you can't have him, like, I'm not saying he can't like do some flips here and there or some kicks, but I don't want Matt Murdock to suddenly flip from one. I don't want to see him flip from one side of the room and then flip to the other side of the room to land a kick on another guy. That is not Matt Murdock. You got to keep it grounded. You got to keep it, you know, where you got to keep his feet on the ground. Just make sure his attacks, a lot like the combat in The Last of Us. The Last of Us combat managed to get that gritty weight, made that really gritty combat style that makes it feels weight with Joel, when you're punching someone, you can tell, you know, he's like putting all his power. Like, do something similar to that, but just, you know, probably add, like, you know, just make it feel similar to free flow combat. You know, that's what I would do for Daredevil. Because that's what Matt Murdock is. He's a man, and yes, he has, you know, his senses are heightened, but he's not like the peak of physical condition like Bruce Wayne is. So you gotta make sure his combat feels grounded and very, very realistic. So, yeah, like, if you can keep up, like, if the combat feels like how it does in the Netflix series, you're good. That's at least me, anyway. As far as his height senses go, this is another reason why I kind of picked Naughty Dog. Was, of course, we know that in The Last of Us there's that listening mode, so you can do that kind of like for when we have to see where we see like how Daredevil sees. It's like where we have to get inside his height senses to find other enemies through walls or stuff like that. That's when you can bring up that the height senses, like that listening mode. It can be similar to the listening mode as it was in The Last of Us, or you can do something different where maybe it's kind of like detective mode, but with like maybe not complete, because detective mode is all technology where you have like, you know, the heartbeat and everything. I feel like if you want to get for Daredevil's height senses to get right, have it be to where maybe the whole screen is maybe, because in the comics it's pretty much red. Have like it make feel like a radar, like where you feel around the map. And you can just see the outlines of their stuff, not so much, you know, prevent. Maybe you can actually, and maybe you can hear their heartbeats through like maybe the speaker on the control of the PS4. Now, by this point, this will be a PS5 game most likely, so who knows if Sony's gonna keep the like little speakers inside the controller. But if it does, you can have that, or maybe have the controller vibrate as you're in that heightened senses mode. So as you know, as you maybe say you're in the stealth section and you got through half the guards, your controller vibrates a lot more because the last guy's heartbeat is so, you know, erratic. He's just like, oh shit. Like, you know, when like in the Batman Arkham games, when you know you're like when you got the last guy left, his heart rate's super high, he's terrified, you can see it. Do a similar thing with Daredevil where you can really, this is why I love with the PS4, you can have the controller vibrate, maybe even turn the light bar red, you know, and have, like, you know, maybe his heartbeat coming from the speaker along with some vibrations, and as he gets more, and as you're focusing maybe on one target or another one, you feel the vibrations get stronger and stronger and stronger as their heartbeat increases. You can also use this for the lawyer stuff when you're listening in to tell if they're lying or not. Your controller can vibrate more and more when their heartbeat is a lot higher. That's when you can tell that they're lying. You know, for the lawyer stuff, you can probably just do something similar to Phoenix Wright. That's what a lot of people have said about when it comes to Daredevil games. They're like, just do something similar to Phoenix Wright or like LA Noire. So you can do something like that. So I mentioned the combat. I've already done how you really could do the radar sense. I really think that was a really cool idea, honestly, where, you know, you got the controller vibrating and stuff. I think that would be a really cool idea if you had the controller vibrating to represent their heartbeats, you know. That would be really cool. Let's see if there's anything else I can really talk about with Daredevil that would be cool for a game. Multiple suits obviously have, you know, different suits like Spider-Man. You could probably also do the whole stuff where, like, you know, the suits have different abilities on. Like, you can include the Netflix suit, you can include the 2003 movie suit. You know, some of his classic comic book suits. You can throw in the black suit in there. You can throw in the yellow suit if you want to put in there for the lulls. You know, all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it for Daredevil. So one other thing, I have to say, with the original 2003 game, I think the 2003 game left a decent foundation for an all-around great Daredevil game. If you would like how the radar sense was, you know, spin around your Bullet Club would be pretty cool. But I must say, if we are gonna have that, I'm someone that fucking despises fall damage against, because most of the time I just think it's fucking pointless and stupid. But with Daredevil, that would have to be a thing, because I mean, if you watch the Netflix series, that's even a thing there. He jumps from a building and he's injured for like for like 1 or 2 episodes in season 1. If you guys remember that. So I would definitely say for a character like Daredevil, that's like the only time where I'll say fall damage is okay and almost needed, because like I mentioned before, Daredevil is just a man. He is not like the pinnacle of human the pinnacle of human strength or whatever. He's just like an average dude that hits the gym. One of the things I forgot to mention before I move on to the last character, for Daredevil, I almost forgot to talk about the open world. Now for the open world, Daredevil's the kind of guy where he rarely ever leaves Hell's Kitchen. Like, that is his place. He usually stays in Hell's Kitchen unless he's pretty much forced out of there. He always stays in Hell's Kitchen. So for this game, obviously you would probably take the map that's already take the map that's already been created from Marvel Spider-Man, or you can just have Nigel just remodel it a little bit to make it feel like a little bit more towards like this feels like it's right there in the Daredevil mythos. Section it up, make it detailed as hell, because it's gonna be a smaller part of the state. Because I would say Hell's Kitchen is probably a decent chunk, probably a decent size for himself. I've never been to it myself, but I would assume it's pretty decent size from how much it had in the PS4 map. So do that. I'm not saying you gotta go full on Arkham City with it, where it's so detailed. People are still finding Easter eggs to this day. I don't think you gotta go that far for Daredevil, but keep it detailed. Make sure you have individual buildings model. Maybe have interiors that you can go into. One other thing I forgot to talk about the combat. One thing I would like to see with the combats is in this one that you guys might remember, Uncharted 3 actually had different combats than all the other ones, where the environment kind of played a factor with it. You guys remember in the bar scene, if you put characters by certain objects, those environments can play a factor in the level. So let's go with Daredevil. So one thing I would like to say is, like, right before a match is supposed to happen in like a certain area, maybe Matt can like feel around the area. Because remember, even though the man can see technically with his radar sense, he's still a blind man, so he can't see a pan that's right in front of him if it doesn't make any noise or he can't smell it. So maybe have him feel around, like if he feels a pan right there or a window is right next to him. Have him feel around, and then he's like, okay, that's right there, that's right there, that's right there. And while you're in the middle of fighting, you can use those objects to your advantage for some more environmental takedowns. That's what I'd like to see with Daredevil. Just to add another layer to the combat system, along with having a more grounded, realistic, free-flow combat system, which I hope the game will have. But you can also use the billy clubs as well to help you out as well. You can also use the billy clubs to knock out lights for stealth sections of the game. And also one other thing I would like for Rain to play a decent function, because you guys don't know, Daredevil, when he's in the rain, he pretty much can see perfectly as much as we can, because of course with rain, it's firing, it's going all over. You can see so much of their bodies and everything. So for Rain, I would like for that to have give you a buff when you're inside, when you fight outside. The window for countering is a lot wider than say if you're fighting indoors. So that could help you if your guy's going to fight against the Hand or just other random guards. That could really help you out. That's another thing I would like to add for a Daredevil game. I actually found that from a video that Godzilla Mendoza did with a couple extra guys when they were pitching their own Daredevil game. So that's something. Well, actually the Rain one was actually from another view, but most of the stuff I talked about was came from that game. So yeah. Have the world very much detailed, have it very detailed, make it feel alive. Make Hell's Kitchen feel like a character itself, in the game. Don't just have it be the backdrop. Make Hell's Kitchen feel alive. Make it feel like it is part of Daredevil's world. Make it feel like its own character, like Arkham City was for Arkham City. Something like that. You don't gotta go all out like Arkham City, but if you can go more of like a Yakuza level to where that series is, I'd say I'll leave a happy man. That's just me anyway. But I got one last character. This one I saved the best for last, honestly, and that character is the Punisher. Now this character is just perfect for Naughty Dog, man. The Punisher is just everything. This is a storyline where, for a storyline for this one, you can honestly use anybody. A part of me would like Neil Druckmann to write a storyline with the Punisher, because I would love to see what he would do with it. But I would also say probably have one of Frank's more popular comic writers, co-write the story with them, so we can still make sure you got him doing, so you can have them work together. Because I feel like Neil Druckmann would make an amazing story with the Punisher, man. Because oh my god, what he did with the last was in Uncharted 4 was so great. I would just love to see what he has from the Punisher, man. It would be so fucking epic, man. Now for the Punisher, this guy needs you need to make sure New York feels dark and gritty and just flat out disgusting. You're gonna do the same thing with Daredevil, but even more so with the Punisher. I mean, just look how a comic looks when you compare it to some of the other Marvel heroes that have. Like, look at how it's comic, how dark, gritty, disgusting it looks almost, and just compare it to like Spider-Man or Captain Marvel. Very different contrast, even though they all take place in New York. Very different contrast. So keep that same style for the Punisher. Now, this isn't the first time Punisher's gotten a game. He had a game releases out around the same time as his movie back in 2004, I believe. So for gameplay style, I would say a mixture between The Last of Us and Uncharted. By that I mean it has the style of The Last of Us, the dark, gritty, very story-driven, grounded feel that it had that just made the game so fucking good. With gameplay very much styled a lot more like the Uncharted games compared to The Last. By that I mean limited ammo isn't really a thing. Not really much of a focus on stealth as much as it is in The Last of Us. Just you as like this one-man army like you kind of were as an action hero as Nathan Drake. Similar to that with the Punisher with Frank Castle, you are a one-man army, so you're just mowing down guys. You're rocking your guns and shit. Ammo is not an issue. That's what I mean by combining those two styles. So a story that's very reminiscent of something that would happen in The Last of Us, but with gameplay similar to to Uncharted. Now for this one, one gameplay thing that needs to be in this game that was in the original Punisher game: environmental kills. I need environmental kills to make an appearance in this game because the Punisher is just that kind of guy that would use the environment to event. Like you could put someone through, like you could cut someone right through a buzzsaw. You could throw their face into a vat of acid, maybe bash their head against a car door, maybe run their face over with a forklift. Some really graphic shit, man. And I hope to God the ESRB doesn't become a bunch of pussies like they did with the first game. You would lose points, and they kind of had to mess around with like the camera and stuff to where you can kind of really still. They had to censor the kills a little bit. But I hope with it being 2019, I hope the ESRB is a lot more lax. They'll just let Naughty Dog just go crazy with the environmental kills, man. Because there's one thing in this game that I absolutely fucking need. It's environmental kills. I love the environmental kills in the first game, and so seeing that nowadays with modern technology done by Naughty Dog, oh Lord, take my fucking money, please. That is something that I would love to see in the game. Environmental kills. That's something that needs to be there, man. I love the environmental kills. Another thing, of course, you gotta keep it to that dark and gritty style. Now, the Punisher is honestly a character where I feel like he'd probably be better off doing a more of a mission-based game rather than just full-fledged more, because Punisher's not really the type of guy that he's not like Daredevil. Punisher just kind of does what he pleases, honestly, so I feel like more of a mission structure would be better. Now, if you do want to go open world, I would say keep it probably limited to maybe a section of New York, maybe Hell's Kitchen, or Brooklyn or something. Maybe keep it to like Brooklyn, Hell's Kitchen, somewhere around those areas. Maybe give us a car to traverse the world. Have side missions where say we helped some civilian, some side missions out. Last night, the next morning, maybe when you're just at Frank Castle, just mind your own business, you can maybe interact with them to help you out with other stuff for stuff later on in the game, maybe some stuff like that. Yeah. That's something I would also like to see, us get, maybe during the day we gather intel on stuff, and then at night, that's when we put on the leather jacket, the bulletproof vest with that badass skull, which please, for the love of God, get John Bernthal, I believe this is the guy that played him in the Netflix series, get him to voice him, please. The man was perfect in the Netflix series. I would love to see him voice the character more because, my God, is he the Punisher through and through. Oh my God, whatever does it. I love him in the Punisher, another thing I would like, dismemberable limbs would be another one. Like maybe say if you're going against a pedophile, you could blow their legs off with a shotgun. Their legs actually fly off. Maybe you blow off their arms, blow off their balls. Give me I don't want just environmental kills. I want the whole 9 yards. Give me dismemberable limbs. I know this is graphic as fuck, but that's the Punisher, man. He is graphic as fuck. and I hope that if we do get a game of the Punisher, number one, it's M-rated. It has to be. And two, if you got an idea working on, I hope they will go full on. I'll go all out. Give me environmental kills, because that, oh my god. I would love to see environment, because the Punisher is the type of guy that will kill you for breathing wrong, ladies and gentlemen. For breathing wrong. And yeah, so if the game is going to be open world, give us like a car to traverse in, maybe that has a Punisher skull on it for the lulz. You know, alternate costumes are a must as always. Maybe throw in the Netflix costume in there as one, please. I would so rock the Netflix. I would so rock the Netflix one. Yeah, that's about it I got to say. Environmental storyline. I also just maybe have Neil Druckmann work with someone of Punisher's best comic writers that he's had. Whichever one's your favorite comic writer, he's in the place working together with Neil Druckmann to create a story that they co-write it. Because I would like to see what Neil Druckmann could do with the Punisher mythos. I think that would be pretty cool. Because I just love what he did with Last Witch and Uncharted 4. So maybe bring those two work. So maybe have two of them work together on a story mode. I would say mission based is probably better suited for the Punisher. But if you got to go open world, maybe just keep it sectioned off to like maybe Brooklyn or Hell's Kitchen maybe. Someone should actually say don't give us a whole map, because he doesn't need the whole map. The Punisher isn't like Spider-Man where he has a whole city to protect. He kind of just does what he pleases. So yeah, that's about it I gotta say, guys. Yeah, this video was actually pretty fun to make. I enjoyed it. Just pitching random ideas about some of my favorite heroes to you guys. Tell me down below what you guys thought of my ideas. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Did you? If you guys got any original ideas of your own with any of the characters I mentioned or any characters I did not mention, like if you want to pitch a Doctor Strange game or you want to pitch a Captain America game, whatever you guys got, I'm here to listen to y'all, and maybe even have a little bit of combo down in the comment section below. So tell me all that down below, guys. And yeah, hopefully we do see one of these games come to fruition, and we do see more Marvel games up by Sony, because I hope they got it in Marvel Spider-Man wasn't just a one-time deal inside. I hope we do get more Sony developers get their hands on more because I would just love to see what Naughty Dog mostly. I would love to see what they would do with like Punisher. I feel like they would do the man so justice, man. If they also bring in the environmental kills, I will be a happy man. So anyway, guys, that's my opinion. That's my thoughts. Tell me down below, guys, what y'all's are. And so yeah, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Do like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, like links down in the description box below. And as always, back for more. See you guys next time. It's